Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Finance. Minister, we often hear you and the Premier try to justify your immoral gambling policy by saying the number of people gambling on poker machines is in decline. While this is true, the amount of money spent on pokies remains relatively unchanged. Between August last year and August this, Tasmanians lost $205 million to poker machines. So, Minister, fewer Tasmanians are losing more of their money to these machines. The amount lost by each player has considerably increased. Minister, will you agree with the evidence, including the most recent social and economic impact study, that recreational pokies play is in decline, but problem or at-risk gambling is not?
Honourable Minister for Finance.
One question. No layers to it.
Is unusual.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Clark, the Leader of the Greens, for her question, and I share her concern, frankly, for people who are gambling addicts, and that's why the government, through the existing legislation, has some of the strongest harm minimisation measures in the nation. And as I outlined in this House on Tuesday, the trend on evidence from the most recent, indeed the 5th SEIS social and economic study that's been done on gambling in Tasmania, which was released mid-last year, did show that gambling was on decline in Tasmania.
No, it showed
it did show that.
Of people playing
Order. Mr O'Connor, order. You've asked the question. You've asked the question. The Minister's allowed to answer it.
And I'll share with the House again that report showed that gambling participation in Tasmania was down to 49%. Expenditure on EGMs was down. That's my advice. And the proportion of Tasmanian adults classified as problem gamblers was also down to 0.4%. That's 0.4 of 1%, and from my memory, I believe the previous figure was more like 0.6%. The study is a comprehensive one with the number of elements, including a prevalence survey of 5,009 people, data analysis and modelling, and engagement with key stakeholders in the community through a number of forums. So a further summary reads as follows. The survey found that 0.4% of Tasmanian adults were classified as problem gamblers. Yes, this does compare with 0.6% in 2017 and 0.5% in 2013. Gambling participation, I'm advised, is continuing to decline. It's down from 49%, which I mentioned. That the previous figure was 59. The previous was 59% in 2017. Now, in relation to EGM expenditure, Ms O'Connor asked me about, my advice is that has also fallen by 15% since the 4th SEIS. You did mention $205 million. So the figures that I have to hand, comparing the 4th SEIS to the 5th, it's fallen by 15%. Down from $204 million to $174 million. That's the information that I have to hand. However, while the interest in the question is around EGMs, the advice is that the most common gambling activity in Tasmania was lottery tickets at 37% of adult Tasmanians participating, followed by Keno at 17%, instant scratchies 11%, and EGMs at 9%, and further that Tasmania has the lowest per capita expenditure on gambling of all of the states, $733 per adult, compared with the Australian average of $1,277. That's right. So I'm not attempting to cover up Ms O'Connor's and my shared concern for problem gambling that is a problem in our state, and that is not contained to EGMs. In fact, EGMs and gambling that is regulated under the Gaming Act, and which is the subject of an order of the day, of course, Mr Speaker, has in fact got protections that other forms of gambling simply don't have. Now, Ms O'Connor, it's been put to me recently that you can. It's been put to me recently, I think, very eloquently, that you can quickly lose more money on your couch than in a licensed venue in Tasmania.
Wow.
And that being the case, you need to get a more well-rounded view of gaming and gambling products and the regulation that needs to go around those. Now, noting, Mr. Speaker, that this side of the House has a strong appetite for improved harm minimisation in our regulation here in Tasmania. A strong appetite, Mr Speaker. On Tuesday, I outlined in a significant development to the House, I outlined a draft direction that the government will be making to the Commission, the Tasmanian Liquor and Gaming Commission.
Order.
I provided a copy of a draft of that direction for the benefit of members, and I hope, Ms O'Connor, I do hope that you have had a look at it, Ms O'Connor, and you will find, including initiatives in that draft direction, that not one other member of this House has called on me to do, Mr Speaker. So I look forward to the debate, Mr Speaker, and I'll take that interjection for what it's worth, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, there's an initiative in that draft direction that no member outside this government has called on me to do, nor the industry. And it's in there for members to observe. And I do respect the different points of view on this. Different parties have gone to the various elections on this issue with different positions. And there's a clear history on that, which I won't take the obvious political point on right now. But I will say we've been clear. But we are not just meeting our election commitments, which Tasmanians voted for not once but twice, on legislation that we consulted on not once but twice, but we will go further,
to give the information
Mr
about
Speaker,
the tax rate.
and I look forward to that debate because I share with you, Ms O'Connor, despite where we will vote, I share with you, Ms O'Connor, a concern for harm minimisation. But unlike you, Ms O'Connor, we will actually do something about it, unlike when you were in government.